Welcome back. The city is getting ready to break out the big stick again, this time aimed at residents who either store their trash wrong or put it out to the curb early. Jim, what is this new regulation all about?
Well, I think your point about the stick is well taken, because that's exactly what this is. This is not the carrot, this is the stick. And the stick this time is, as you suggested, aimed at people who lay out their trash early, and the fine is $200.
Wow.
Plus, if they decide at 5 minutes to 4 that they want to pick up your trash that couldn't be picked up, that is not supposed to be put out to 4, not only can they fine you for having it out there 5 minutes early, and I'm not saying they're doing this, but they can also collect it and then charge you a collection fee.
So who's going to be the trash police out?
Well, that's a good question. But the bigger problem is the fact that they've already identified so many properties that it's almost impossible to enforce this regulation, because they have, they don't have any frontage, they don't have backyards. It's very difficult. There's also a part of it that says when you have to, so you put it out by 4 the night you're going to pick up, you have to bring it in by 7 the following evening. So, and I understand the problem. I'm just not sure that always using a big stick is the best way for the city to go.
Well, I don't know if they have many other ways to do this. As you were saying, who's going to enforce this? Maybe they're just hoping if there's a fine. We know that they do this in a lot of other cases, for make the fine bigger, make the prison sentence bigger.
Right.
And we know where that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't see that it's a really big deal as long as the enforcement doesn't get out of hand. I mean, they have discretion here. I had a problem when I lived in Washington, D.C. People dumped trash in the back of an old garage, row house, could not see the alley. We went away on vacation, came home. I have a citation. Mm-hmm. Somebody, the neighbors knew, had literally dumped 35 bags of trash behind my garage. We got cited. I had to go to court, but we got off. They realized the situation.
But that was not of your doing. My argument,
No.
and I know,
It's gonna be hard
there
here
are
to-
there's other pieces of code in the city
Yeah.
where they say, well, we won't always enforce it. Well, my point is, if you're going to write a rule, only to say we're not going to enforce it some percentage of the time, why have the rule?
Right.
Well, maybe it'll be enough deterrent for some.
Well,
Apparently, they've gotten a lot of complaints from residents.
one of my concerns is it's targeting the property owners. And it's in the downtown area. And a lot of the property that we have in the downtown area are rental properties.
Yeah.
So how's that going to be conveyed, to the tenants who probably are not paying that much for the rental property anyway? I think we could maybe do this a little gentler and try to work with, instead of trying chasing people out of downtown and chasing people away from having rental properties and providing housing, can we do this maybe a more polite way to reach out to the landlords and try to have them work with their tenants, so we're not slapping them with a $200 fine, but we can find some other way to address the issue.
Well, who's actually getting the fine?
Well, my
The
understanding is
homeowner? I mean, the rental guy?
my understanding is
Responsible?
ultimately the landlord, if the fine's not
Okay.
paid, they will file a lien against the property, and that is the landlord. And as a
Well, I think
landlord,
that's appropriate.
as a landlord in the city of Hagerstown, I can tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to write my leases to say that any of these fines that are passed along, we're going to pass along to you,
To who?
to the
tenants.
tenants.
Okay,
To
well,
the lessee.
we'll see, but I think they have so many problems with rental and abandoned properties underwater in downtown Hagerstown. I think they're just trying to do something here to improve the quality of life of the city and make the owners of the properties respond, which seems to be fair enough if you own the
Maybe it's the
property.
way to clean up Hagerstown. But now the other thing is they can't have bags laying out. The bags have to be inside trash
Trash
cans,
cans with
Exactly.
lids.
with lids on it.
Right.
She made that point. I saw the video today. She made that point. It has to be inside the container with the lid on top.
But
And you will get fined even though you put your trash out.
But this is for downtown. It's
Yeah.
not covering the entire city of Hagerstown. It's focused strictly on downtown, where there is an issue if you drive down.
But we had the rental property registration rule that came into play. Then we expanded the rental property registration rule. We hired more people to do the inspections. We were part of that. We got to participate, as they phrased it, because we own property downtown. And I got to tell you, the same properties that were a problem before that law was in place are still a problem. So the exceptions that they're writing are for the properties in some cases that are still the problem. They're just punishing me too, and I keep a nice place.
Well, you know, I guess they're trying to get the citizens to take care of it instead of them having to do it. Is that the idea?
It's not working.
You know,
Well, I'm
like
gonna
the
leave that-
personal responsibility.
I'm going to leave that right to you then, and of course I have a part 2 to this.
Okay.
So let's put out the trash for now and talk about this new trail that the city is creating between the arts and the entertainment district and the city park. This $2.2 million project has generated a fair amount of reaction from much positive and negative. Councilwoman Penny Nye has questioned whether this is the best use of city resources. While the mayor, Armand Geisbert, and the council Brubaker suggest it will spur private investment. Henry, what are your thoughts?
Well, I can say for a change, I agree with Penny Nye. You know, if you look at the bill, it's $2.2 million.
Yes, it is.
The debt service on that bill and the forecasted revenue it's going to generate to the city won't pay the debt service. So we're already taking a city that is under a financial crisis, and now we're going to place additional burden. I'm not against the arts. I think this is a wonderful concept and a wonderful idea. But the price tag is really restrictive on what this city can actually afford at this point in time. And couldn't we use the $2.2 million if we needed to spend it and was burning the holes in our city council pocket for something?
So I first will disagree that we have a city that's in financial crisis. I think that we have a budget shortfall, at least in the initial pass for the upcoming year. But quite frankly, talking to Al Martin, the former city treasurer, most of his budgets for the first pass came in, with too many expenses and too little revenue. So I'm not too nervous about that. I find myself in the odd position of at least partially agreeing with Penny as well. I don't see the payback. I don't see the residential investment that's going to be spurred by this. And plus, what I saw in the map, if what I saw was correctly, it looks like they're going to go through property that I know in one case somebody just spent about $5.5 million to upgrade,
Yeah.
aka John Barr, and they're going to he's going to give that up for residential development? I don't
Got
know.
something going on there, but
Yeah, I agree with Metzner. It's time that we stop littering the hallways of City Hall with failed projects. To me, see, the idea about politics, being mayor, being on a city council, is about vision. I can get you 50 CPAs to go through whatever you want to, budgetary-wise. They're not the people you elect to have a vision and a direction for the future. So in my opinion, I mean, I'm not going to, put all my chips on something. This is going to be the most fabulous development ever. However, I think you've got to put something out there in the bigger issue to let people know you're doing something. Right. And this is about selling yourself to corporations, to people who want to do things in education. They're coming, people have moved into Hagerstown to go to the school downtown, the Barbara Ingram, School of the Arts. This is near that. It's a vision here, and see, that's where I think that's what politics is about.
Well, and I'm not blind to the fact that I could be wrong. And the reality is there were a lot of people that argued against, at the time, Mayor Brucci about putting USMH downtown. And I would argue that's been a huge success.
Huge success.
Well, yeah, and they're building off of that success.
well, they want to build 31 new townhomes, and 200 loft apartments.
Yeah.
They own the hotel, so that's part of that whole $2.2 million.
And
Yeah,
that's why I said I was only partially agreeing with Penny Nye, because
Okay,
I don't
okay,
have
well,
a
I'm glad
crystal
we're getting
ball
that straight,
any
yes.
more than anybody else. But to me, theoretically, the math doesn't work. But I also understand the view is really good from the cheap seats, because I don't have the data that she has, that others have to look at this.
Right.
But
And I
4 out of 5
completely-
think it's a good idea.
I understand.
Well, if it's anything to clean up Hagerstown.
I also agree that we on this panel have talked many times about the number of untouched studies and reports that line the halls
As
of
Metzner,
the city.
Yes.
So,
We'll leave it at that. Then up next, why tax the 1%ers when you can tax the 15.8%ers? Who are they, and how is Maryland going to tax them? Stay tuned and find out.